Welcome to the Men Over Mountain Project. I'm your host, Dalton Yateman, and here we band together to overcome life's most complicated mountains. Whether you are a father, husband, entrepreneur, or influencer, we find ways to take action and become a man over our mountains. What is up, man? Today will be the first solo podcast of the Men Over Mountain Project. So I'm planning on doing plenty of interviews, plenty of solos, but I really wanted some shorter style podcasts as well to really just give you some quick and simple action plans for whatever it is that is going on in your life, and to, go ahead and get you on the battlefield, ready to rock and roll with task that you can do yourself. You know what I mean? So with that being said, let's get started. I'm going to be reading from some notes because I am very much ADHD. That's one way that I keep myself on track. That's one of my obstacles. And today we are going to talk about how we identify and overcome obstacles, right? So like I said, we're going to try to keep this as simple and as quick as possible. There will be an exercise during this, so go ahead and get a pen and paper out, and then pause whenever you need to proceed through the process before we move on to the next step. Okay. All right. So we all have obstacles or things that we want to achieve. We all have goals, right? And sometimes we tend to put a lot of things on our plate, and it gets very chaotic. It gets very confusing, and we feel like we're stretched thin or burning the candle at both ends. I'm very, very guilty of that. And coming at you from a place of ADHD where creativity and excitement about certain things are, I have no lack of that. Okay. So I get very excited. I get very creative. Whenever I get hyper focused on something that I'm passionate about, I can actually probably obsess over it pretty well. But with that being said, that happens to a lot of different things, whether that be guns, whether that be survival or bushcraft or whatever it is. I can dive into that, and then I will lose focus on things that I'm trying to, goals that I'm trying to reach. Okay. Anyway, let me get back on track. So with that being said, we're going to keep it simple. Okay. We're going to go step by step. You can overcome your obstacles. Okay. And this is how we're going to do it. So step one, why do you want what you want? Okay. This is the most important. Okay. So even before that, what do you want? Which I'm sure you know, right? Why do you want that thing? All right. It is important to know what you want and why you want it so that you pursue what is important with intention and not just being led by impulse alone. Like I was just saying, with me getting passionate about things that I like, that I care about, and kind of getting, distracted or pulled away from what I'm trying to be intentional about in my life, right? Okay. So your time and energy is valuable. And if you do not have a strong why, okay, you may not stay motivated towards achieving them. So let me just clarify something really, really quickly. Motivation is not that you feel like doing something. Okay. Everywhere else, there are motivational videos. There are, things that are trying to encourage you and to like give you energy, right? What you want is energy. You want to change your state. You want to get that feeling. You want to get pumped up and ready to rock and roll and ready to attack whatever it is that you're trying to do. But motivation is not a feeling. It is a reminder. Okay. Motivation is a reminder of why you want something, right? Why you are trying to reach a particular goal or overcome a particular thing. Okay. So literally, if we break it down, motivation, the motive for which you are doing something, your reason why, right? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get that piece of paper out and that pen. I would love for you all to join along in this process because we're going to try to simplify things. And I know what you're thinking, man, I got to get a piece of paper out. I got to, write things down and go through a process. Organization and your ability to structure what's in your mind will simplify everything for you. Okay. And once you put it out onto paper, you can think clearly and more focused. And that's what our goal is here. You know what I mean? So some of y'all might say this is actually too complicated. Well, I want to encourage you to try it anyway. Okay. So, for example, you are identifying what you want. Okay. So, I want to lose 20 pounds of fat and have more energy. Okay. That's simple, right? That's normally where everybody stops. Okay. But we have to ask ourselves a question. Why do we want to lose 20 pounds? And I'm separating this because it's actually two questions. It's actually two things that they want. They want to lose 20 pounds and they want more energy. Okay. So why do I want to lose 20 pounds of fat? Well, your answer can be very much different, but here's an example of an answer. I'm always self conscious and want to be more confident in public. Okay. So that's clarity on why you want to lose 20 pounds of fat. And what this is doing is it's making it visceral, it's making it real in your life. So you're like, man, if I did lose that 20 pounds, this is how it could actually affect me. Right. And it's helping you to kind of see that more clearly. So the second part of that thing that they wanted, right, was to have more energy. Well, why do you want to have more energy? Me, as a father, as a husband, as an entrepreneur, energy is extremely important, right? I don't want to feel fatigued. I want to feel like I'm all in. I do not want to give my kids and my wife crumbs whenever I get home from my day job. And so that is my reason why. But another example is I'm missing out on time with my kids because I do not have the physical ability to keep up. Now, most of you dads out there, man, like, okay, if you have kids, whenever they get tired, they don't wind down, they wind up. Okay. It's like there's this burst of energy that has to come out right there at the end. And then the kid explodes and then they just pass out wherever it is that they lay. Okay. So it's really wild how that works out, but you know what I mean. It's hard to keep up with. All right. So this is step one. We just completed step one. We identified what we want, and then we asked questions about why we wanted it, and then we gave ourselves answers to why we want it, right? So easy. Step number two, identify the obstacle. All right. So if there wasn't an obstacle, you have already completed these goals, right? You would have already made progress on them. You would probably not be listening to this podcast right now if you wasn't looking for information on how to overcome these things. So thank you for being here. But anyway, step number two, identify the obstacle. So this is where the rubber meets the road, right? This is where you'll start to make progress. And you need to figure out what exactly is getting in your way so that you can tackle it head on. All right. The first thing I tell people who want to lose weight or who want to exercise more, but are having trouble doing so is figure out why. Okay. And we just figured out why we want what we want. Now let's figure out why we can't get what we want. All right. That's to clarify. So, what is stopping you? What is stopping you from actually pursuing these things, right? So, do you think that it will be too hard or take too long? Are you worried about what other people might think? If you're sweating on the elliptical or, out in public trying to reach your goals, you know what I mean? Maybe you're uncomfortable in your own skin. Do you feel like there's no time left in the day after working all day and then coming home and having to do yard work or whatever it is? I feel all of these, man. Like every single one of these, I'm checking boxes, been there, done that, right? Still there. All of this still applies to my life. But the question is, are you going to allow it to be an obstacle or are you going to pursue building bridges over them, right? Okay. So Identify the obstacle. So let's use that example again. All right. So this is where we start the second step of the exercise. If you're writing down and following along, okay. So let's use our example again. I want to lose 20 pounds of fat and have more energy. So the question is, what is stopping me from losing 20 pounds? As clear as you can get. Okay. So you can have a ton of answers here, right? I don't know where to start. I don't know what to eat. I don't know what exercises to do. I don't want to diet or exercise, which, anyway, I don't have the time. I don't have the money, right? Ton of reasons why, you know, or a ton of things that are stopping you from losing 20 pounds. And you know what your habits look like, and you know, majority of the time, what is getting in the way of you overcoming that, right? So we've identified them. We know what's stopping us now. All right. Now it's time for step 3. We are debunking the obstacle. So right now, you are on an app, maybe in your car, you are on a website, listening to a sound clip, wherever you are, you're being intentional, right? You're learning about how to overcome your obstacles for free. And you decided that it mattered enough to you to take the time to read, use the energy to participate in the process. And now I'm going to ask you to do the same with your obstacles. Okay. So most obstacles stem from the same places. All right. And if you can identify these as kind of the core issue of what your obstacle is like growing from, if you will, fear, inactivity, insecurity, lack of education. All right. If you can attack those things, those are your enemies. Okay. And so we'll discuss those particular topics in a lot more depth in future podcasts, and they're very likely going to be solos. But hey, we're going to talk about all type of stuff in the interview portions of these podcasts as well. So I'm sure there will be largely expanded on over time. So anyway, so this is my challenge for you, right? Let's just clarify where we've gone so far. We figured out what we wanted. We figured out why we wanted it. We realized that motivation is not a feeling. It is a reminder of why we want what we want and why it's important to us, right? We've identified our obstacles and we have debunked our obstacles. So there's so much information out there, right? There is so many other podcasts just like this one. There's so many, classes or YouTube videos or, you know, documentation, books, tons of information out there that you can go and get. And most of it is free. Okay. And those things will build bridges over your obstacles, right? They're giving you direction, they're giving you strategy for how to overcome these particular things. For example, we'll go up and use something, right? I don't know where to start. Okay, well, most personal trainers, most life coaches or business coaches or whatever your goal is, will know generally how to get you started. And it's going to be by baby steps. It's not going to be huge jumps or huge leaps of faith most times. Okay. So we'll use another one. I don't know what exercises to do. All right. I don't know what to eat or, how to diet and exercise. I don't have the time. Now, there are people out there who have overcome these obstacles already, and you can too. It's just, are you willing to debunk these by adding information, by reading, or, hiring somebody that can actually create a roadmap for you to get to your goals, um, and clarify what it is that you exactly want and how we're going to exactly get you there. And that's kind of the job of the life coach as well, is to see where you're going and then connect the dots on the way back and have you follow that path to your goal. That is the goal. Okay. So I highly recommend you working with somebody that's been there or knows what they're talking about to help you in this process. But if you don't have the ability to, there's free resources out there. Okay. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one goal. If you're not familiar with, mapping stuff out like this, or, you've got 15 different things that you're trying to do at one time, let's be honest, you don't have the energy to pursue 15 different goals and stay consistent with those. Some of you may be superstars. I may be wrong, but pick one that is the most important to you, that you feel like that motivation is not going to go away. That reason why is so visceral and so strong that you have no option but to pursue and overcome that, right? That's why we call them mountains, okay? Because you have to climb. You have to climb if you want to get to the summit, and you have to just put one foot in front of the other until you get there. That's all it is to it. One foot in front of the other. But anyway, the challenge, pick one, okay? Go through this process, be consistent, and as you proceed, new obstacles will arise. You'll notice, hey, I've made some progress, but maybe, it's in nutrition. And you notice that some foods that you're eating are causing some like gut discomfort or something like that, right? Then you have to adapt. You have to go through this process again, identify the obstacle, come up with a game plan, and debunk it, right? And keep moving forward. But remember, motivation, I'm saying it again, I have to repeat myself. It is not a feeling. Motivation is not a feeling. It is a reminder of why you want what you want. So, with that being said, I hope this was helpful. I would love to connect more with you guys. Let me know how this podcast is helping you. If you need help from a life coaching standpoint, from a personal training standpoint, business, whatever it is, we can talk, we can have a conversation. I would love to work with you. But with that said, I want to thank y'all for listening today. I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear some feedback from you about how this podcast, in particularly, may have helped you. So leave a like, leave a review, subscribe, download, wherever it is that you're watching or listening to. Hit me up in the DMs wherever you follow me on social media, whether that be Facebook or Instagram. I'm normally more active on Instagram, and you'll see my tags in the description or right here on the screen. Man, y'all have a blessed day. Thanks for listening again, and let's overcome our mountains.